You are along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole the Crusher Barrel.
Steve McQueen was actually the king.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm. Wait.
Man, thank you so much, Mr. Evil Knievel, for those inspiring words. We should all take time, not necessarily to fly through the air, but live in the sunlight and enjoy life.
And of course, we have to thank all of our first responders and all of our men and women in the armed forces of this great nation. Because of them, we can do this podcast. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you to all our POWs, our veterans, the families of those that were MIA and KIA. Respect from all of us here. Thank you for your service. And while we're saying thank you, how about thank you to our biggest fan, Kicker Performance Audio? Find them online, kicker.com. All your 12-volt needs and personal audio needs. Hit them up on the website. You got a boat, got a sandrail, got a car, got a motorcycle, got a Harley, got, about anything you can imagine, truck. Hit them up. Get living loud with the original kicker.com. Of course, Bomber Eyewear. And man, I just broke into my annual supply. Thank you, Bomber Eyewear. Find them online, bombereyewear.com. I'm wearing Boogie Bombs, no Mana series this time, but the plain white Boogie Bombs with the ANSI 87 OSHA approved polarized dark smoke. I also have them in a blue ice mirror, which also has an anti-glare. Man, and they float.
Most importantly, they float.
Yeah. So, check them out. BomberEyewear.com. They've got styles from here to the end of both your arms and further, all different designs, just about any style you can imagine they have, all the way down to their Mega, which is specifically designed to go right over your prescription glasses with zero interference. And they float. Did I mention that?
And they're unique.
And they are, for sure. BomberEyewear.com. Of course, the Premix Podcast, our man Cole, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera, and also available to MC your off-road events, your off-road races, or just about anything else you want to do. With the exception of weddings, he draws a line at weddings, which I totally understand. He's kind of a crybaby.
But money talks, so I don't know.
Well, there's that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Master MC Cole, hit him up on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. That's the at symbol, ThePremixPodcast on Instagram. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film, getting all of this content transferred into a video professionally edited video source and getting it up on YouTube, and now a YouTube podcast for us. Find our YouTube channel at MAddOG Media and find Kelsey Morrell Film for all your film production needs, whether it's shorts or all the way up to extended features, TV commercials, whatever you need. Find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film, all one word. Of course, Hey Keeks Marketing, man, we've got some cool, exciting stuff coming up out of this partnership. Check her out on Instagram. You need social media to work, you need a website built, you need to build an influencer campaign. She's got you covered. She can hook influencers up with your company and get you exposure, get those leads. Find her on Instagram at Hey Keeks Marketing or hit her website, heykeeks.com. Man, we're going to jump into this. What do you got, Cole? What's new and exciting? It seems like it's been a while since you and I shared some alone time on Along for the Ride.
Yeah, it's been like 7 episodes or 6 episodes and like 8 weeks since we've done a family episode. Just
Wow.
mono e mono.
Crazy, dude. Just crazy.
I mean, look at that line of guests we had. That was, I mean,
Oh,
I think it all started with Mia, and then in the snowball just kept picking up speed from there and collected more Red Bull athletes and
yeah.
journalists and racers, and it didn't end for a while.
Yeah, rock stars and
Rock stars.
I think was it Dustin Jones before Mia, Dustin Battle Axe Jones,
Justin was
Nick
before Mia.
Chapman,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Rebel Off-Road Junior Team USA, Seth Quintero, AJ Jones, Mitch Guthrie Jr., Sue Lewis Alston.
Lewis, of course.
Who else was in there? Sue Mead,
Sue
of
Mead.
course. BC Vaught,
Most recently, Nick Granlund.
Nick Granlund. Yeah, what a great run. What a bunch of great guests. We have so much fun. And while we're talking about fun, it joys me to say that we are growing a lot thanks to you fans. And I want to give a shout out to all of you fans, followers, and just
Friends.
friends. Thank you so much. Thank you for referring us to your friends and spouses. Special shout out to my friends, the Crazy Watsons, because I know you're going to listen. So
And they
uh,
made an appearance on episode 47.
they did. They did. And while we're on that, I want to talk to you about episode 47. If you haven't listened to it, stop right now, go back, listen to episode 47, then come back. I'll wait.
But don't forget to come back.
Yeah, come back. Click like and subscribe so you don't forget where we're at. Leave a comment on mostly about anything. Anyway, episode 47. So for this is episode 49, by the way. So for 46 episodes, Cole and I have been actually, I think episode 9, we came up with the conception to have episode 47 as our bloopers, all bloopers. And the plan was to get all these bloopers from all these episodes, 46
Because there's a lot.
of them. There's a lot. Yeah, trust me, there is a lot. And do a show that was all bloopers and then jump in somewhere in the middle. Cole's plan as a producer and mastermind and brains behind all this was to jump in the middle and make some comments, talk about some of the stuff, share some memories, and then get on with the rest of them. Unbeknownst to me, Cole, my boy, pirated the show completely.
I did.
Total Bogart. Fantastic episode. And Cole, I want to thank you so much. I literally, by the time I got to the end of the episode, I was in tears. I was just really touched by one, the fact that you took the whole thing over, and two, the way you approached it, ultra professional, and the ending with comments from friends and guests was just unbelievably touching for me. I had no idea, folks. The first time I heard episode 47, was when we released it.
Yeah, it was when everybody else got to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was awesome, Cole. Thank you so much. And I know it was a ton of work, but man, I don't even know how to thank you. I'm so grateful that you put in all that work. And dude, is just awesome.
Well, I'm just glad you liked it. For one, yes, it was a ton of work, but in all reality, like it's probably the same amount of work for me to do that episode as it is for Kelsey to put up all the videos on YouTube. So I don't want to sound like I am had such a devastating amount of work because Kelsey does this all the time, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
so let me start there, but it was just a lot different than the normal format. And to be honest, I had every intention to bring you on at the end and like have you listen through it and stuff, but like the reality was it was like the deadline was getting closer and closer and closer. And so I think I was sitting here at the computer, I'm like, all right, you know what? I am pirating the show. So in the beginning, when I go, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to bring Lauren on later, like I meant it. And then like as the editing process went on, it was like, nah, that's just not going to happen. But it was cool. I mean, it was like I looked at all the guests that we had, and what was funny is like it came together so easily in the fact that like when I would see somebody's name on the guest list, I would think about like what stood out in that episode, and that's what ended up in 47. It's like, you know, it's not a joke when I think about the Wes Kane clip all the time, and I think about Scotty Dubler and talking about games and stuff, and just it was just fun to put together like that. And to be honest, I definitely had those nights where I listened through it and I'm like, it's just going to be a cluster because it's just a bunch of random clips. And then if it doesn't have enough context, people are going to be so confused. And I put it together and I edited it and I sent it out in the world. And then I listened to it one more time and I'm like, okay, I'm actually happy with it. It turned out better than I kind of thought it would go.
I thought it was exceptional. And I was very, very humbled in your tribute to me, and I was very touched because you know that's not me, man. I'm just dude with a passion, right? I just want to have fun. I want to get people's stories out there, and I really was truly honored. That was, and like I said, hopefully those of you who went back and listened to it jump back on here now, and now you get it. So.
Yeah, and I'd before we go any farther, I got to thank your wife for helping me put a lot of this together because she did a lot of behind the scenes work, and I'd like to thank the Watsons and Sue Mead and obviously your boy Rob. What's up, Rob in Canada for sending me these clips. I mean, it was dude, people knocked it out of the park, and like recording yourself if you don't do it all the time, it's super weird, right? So when it's like I'm asking people like, hey, I just need a sound clip, like you don't even have to videotape yourself, like you can point it off in the distance. Like in my head, I'm like, oh, that's so easy. But I think about it's like, no, man, like a lot of people don't even like to hear the sound of their own voice.
Right.
So thank you to everybody that sent me the clips because it's not as easy as I think I originally thought it was.
Yeah, and shout out to my boy Rob. Man, we got some stories that probably some of them might get told, some of them will definitely never be told on Along for the Ride. Although the statute of limitations for me in Canada is over, so I think we're good. But anyway,
why risk it, right?
Yeah, no, Rob, I appreciate it. We had a great conversation a while back because you know he's doesn't live and breathe motorsports like some of us. And so he was like, I didn't know what to expect, but it's not what I expected. So, you know, really cool input. And yeah, man, it was just killer episode, touching. And man, I guess episode 100 will be the next one.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe I'll be more computer savvy even by then, so maybe I'll be able to blow it out of the park. But I don't know. Pressure's on, I guess.
We'll see. So, yeah, man. Other than that, dude, I've been I've been home. We had Nick after 47, which we actually recorded. So people know, we recorded Nick before 47 was produced. And the reason we did is because Nick is now in Sweden, living his best life over there with his son on a great trip that he talks about on the podcast. And man, that was such a fun episode. And um, it was great to kind of hear some of his perspective from in the car,
Oh
of
yeah.
the
Yep.
Vegas to Reno race that I worked with him. I was fortunate enough to pit for him. Which I was supposed to be pitting for one car and ended up pitting for two, but it's all good.
It's twice as many cars.
It's twice as much fun.
Twice as much heartbreak, twice as much success,
Yes,
glory.
yeah, for sure. That's definitely an even scale, but I still feel like Vegas to Reno owes me one.
Yeah. Well, I wish we could get out there this year and go get your glory back, but
Yeah,
looking at the
maybe
calendar, I don't think it's going to happen this year.
no, maybe next year. Maybe next year we'll be able to get something put together. So,
Document the whole thing, put it out for the people.
yeah, yeah, dude, that'd be rad. So, yeah, man. Other than that, you know, uh, let me see. I think last time we recorded, I was scheduled to go to the Kicker Arena Cross Summer Series in Gallup, New Mexico, a big doubleheader there, and always a great time. Middle of July, um, always packed. Gallup loves their motorsports. And Red Rock Arena, we covered how beautiful it is back in the monster trucks, Kicker Monster Truck recap. And Gallup was where Along for the Ride started. That was where we recorded the first episode, was actually in the Patriot Hotel there. That's what I call it. And a year ago, just over a year ago now. And unfortunately, this year I had everything in place and was ready to go. And there's some issues with the arena, and unfortunately, they were forced to cancel multiple events at the arena, which is really sad because
Yeah.
it's a beautiful arena. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but it's none of my business really. It just sucks that the event was canceled. I was looking forward to being there.
Close to home, super unique place.
Yeah, yeah, and super good crowd, super engaged crowd, always, just get you jacked up. And so I was bummed that didn't happen. So, I've been just doing a bunch of work around here, and Kelsey's been working with me a lot on getting the videos up. And we're about to go back on the road, which is going to be exciting. Hopefully not too exciting. Not as exciting as last year, at least a trip, I hope. Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And man, we're just gonna rip, It's I'm out this weekend, Saturday morning, heading north on my Pacific Northwest loop. For the first time since 2009, I will not be at Doomfest.
Yeah, and I saw your post about that. I felt bad, man.
Yeah, it's really a heartbreaker. They pushed it back to the second weekend of August, which originally it was always the last weekend of July.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of years ago, I think in 21, they pushed it back to the first weekend of August. And now with the new owners, they pushed it back to the second weekend of August. And I was already committed to the American Flat Track Castle Rock TT in Washington. So I will be there. It's bittersweet,
You're so close. I think that's what sucks too, right?
Yeah, I basically, I mean, I'll when I go by the coast, I'll be, basically 120 miles inland. So,
Yeah.
you know, um, so yeah, it's, you know, Doomfest has been a big part of my career. I've met so many great friends there. I've made so many good friends. So many that are like family, whether it's the staff, and Jody and her crew. Um, Unfortunately, the chamber had made some changes and things were going downhill quick for Doomfest, and Jody jumped in and just brought it back to its old glory of way back, and amazing lady, did an amazing job. Um, and of course, my boys Clark and Eric and Nick that did all the groundwork out there. Um, TPQ that announced the whole event.
Hmm.
Um, all those people are family to me, and I'm really gonna miss the Brad's Cartoons group this year because they are just flat fun.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we always had so much fun, and so um, I mean, but I've been blessed to have been to, uh, I guess like 14.
That's crazy.
So, in a row, I mean, it's a pretty good run. Um, it started out with Rob Muzzy, basically Rob Muzzy and Murray like saying, "Hey, if it wasn't for Rob even taking a chance on me back in '08, I would have never been at Doomfest. I wouldn't have met all these awesome people or had this awesome experience, and I'll be forever grateful for that." And I did 7 years of Doomfest with Muzzies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was looking through some old pictures and like the evolution from the Terex and Rhino exhausts and the brute force exhaust and the what was that damn thing? Prowler,
Oh, yeah.
the Articat Prowler
Uh-huh.
exhaust into, um like Razor 800, and then Razor 900, Terex 800, um man, all the way up XP 1000, the XPT, the turbo car, and the Articat Wildcat, um Wildcat X, of course the Wildcat Trail, which the little micro car that could, that thing was amazing. I think it was the first ever 700cc side by side to climb Banshee Hill.
Yeah, doing tree shots all the way up.
Yeah, and I wasn't actually driving. The guy at the wheel that day was none other than the Crow Dog,
Mr.
John
Crowley.
Crowley Jr.
Bum,
Yes,
bum,
sir.
bum.
Mr. UTV guide himself. Um, and we're going to have him on the show.
Yeah, he's I mean, like I have so many questions about what he does. You know what I mean? Like not
Yeah.
like a sketchy way. I'm just like, yeah, just like all our guests, just a fascinating dude. But man, yeah, like Dune Fest, I haven't been nearly as many times as you have, but it's like I was spoiled the first time I went because I got to stay in those 3-story condos that are right at the entrance of the dunes. It's like it's a
Yep.
driveway and then you're in the dunes, That
Yep.
was my first experience. And then met Guy Fieri there and did my first oyster shooters there and went on
Fieri.
that floating restaurant in Coos Bay. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Or in Winchester Bay.
Winchester Bay. I'm sorry. Yep.
Unger's Fish and
Yeah.
Chips.
That
It's
place is
not there
awesome.
anymore, but it was
Oh,
good. Yeah.
man.
Yeah. That was always a stop. And yeah, I forgot, I forgot, till you mentioned it, we did through Muzzies. I was able to be involved, and through Joey D at UTV Underground at the time, able to be involved in that whole Guy Fieri and his crew special build, custom builds of Razor 4 XP 1000 four seats. It was truly an honor. I got to sit and dine with them a couple of nights where his boy Paul, who's become just unbelievably good friend of mine, super solid dude, um, actually did the cooking, and it was outstanding.
Yeah, then the knuckle sandwich crew.
Yep,
Yeah.
the knuckle sand. And they shout out to all those guys, Guy and all his crew for all they do. Also their kicker partner, but he built that custom catering trailer just to do like charity events. And when they had the big fires up there, I think it was last year in Northern California, he hauled that trailer out and set up and fed first responders
Yeah.
three meals a day
Yep.
for
And
days.
yeah, does school charities with like pretzel makers and like does more charity than you would even know about, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And I heard a
exactly.
comedian say it's like, and you just want to talk to him like he's Nickelback because he keeps the sunglasses on the back of his head. Like, no, that guy's a true American.
Yeah, he is. Hey, so do I sometimes. So
Well, you guys have to wear the same glasses. I mean, he's not a bomber factory pilot, but someday
right,
maybe, you know.
maybe I could put a good word in for him.
You're like, hey, I know a guy, Tommy.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, man, just so many good memories at Doomfest, and so many awesome people that I know that there's people I'm gonna forget, and they're gonna send me a message and go, "Hey, you forgot to talk about me," and I'm really sorry. And man, the last three Doomfests, Kicker has been the official audio and sponsored the freestyle show with
Mm-hmm.
my boy Robert Haslam, Jet City FMX. And I have had the honor of working the stage, if you will, not the pole, people, the stage,
Not this year.
um, and announcing the freestyle shows. And man, that's been so exciting, so much fun. It's such a rush working with Tim Shellman, TPQ, voice of the Mint 400, live voice of the Mint 400 and stuff. Um, yeah, just so good. Uh, there's so many good memories, plus used to ride every day.
Yeah, that's you need that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, as I'm going through the pictures, I'm reflecting about this year and that year and, the progression of things and even like the changes on the brute force and stuff like that. And yeah, man, just like it's crazy how many people I met. I always loved going back there because it was like a homecoming.
Yeah. Well,
And
maybe Shellman or somebody can get you a plaque so when you go up next year it'll be like, hey, for 14 consecutive years of loyal dooning ship.
yeah, and it was rad, and we did a lot of good stuff out there while we were there, and help a lot of charities and stuff like that. And so, you know, if it let's hope that next year it moves back to the end of July or the first weekend of August, or and I can get back up there and spend some time. um I'm definitely really gonna miss it though, for sure. But that being said, on the other side of that, I'm going to the Castle Rock TT for American
Yeah.
Flat Track. um and I get to be around my American flat track family, which I haven't got to go to as many races this year just because their East Coast swing has been, I think, bigger this year.
Yeah, definitely way
Um,
more on the east.
yeah, and then races that like um, Memorial Day in Lexington, Kentucky was a Red Mile doubleheader last year, which makes sense to go to when you can get, 2.5 days. But when it's just a 1 day show, it makes it hard to justify driving all the way to Lexington, Kentucky and back. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I've missed several races that I got to do last year that were a lot of fun. Um, either due to other scheduling conflicts or due to the way that they're running around the kind of far Midwest up into Northeast. So um, this weekend they are at Sturgis. And next weekend we will be in Castle Rock, Washington. And that man, what a great bunch of fans. Packed the
They're
grandstands.
loyal. They come out.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Pacific Northwest is, you know, massive motorsports supporters.
I'm learning
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't expect it, but yeah, man. I mean, I think the track there seats 5,000, and they actually worked. They were sold out before gates opened, and they actually worked with or before racing started, before the program started. Um, and so they actually worked with the fairgrounds there to open a field off the side of the racetrack that was standing room only, that I think added another 5,500 or 600 or something.
Wow.
And that was sold out by the time the national anthem started. So
It's just nice to hear like motorsports events selling out.
yeah, yeah. Well, and they do um, amateur national short track on Friday night, which is, pretty exciting and was very well attended. And then they do, of course, the AFT race, the big show Saturday, and then they do a amateur national TT on Sunday, um, which was some really good racing.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, not a lot of fans, but still some fans. And so, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's 3 days of racing. I mean, come on, you
Yeah.
know?
Compared to, like you said, compared to 1 day at the Red Mile, now you're getting three. So,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
kind of in your old neighborhood a little bit. So I'd say it's well worth it.
yeah. I'll loop a trip in with a stop by and see the Rev and my mom. And I was hoping to see my brother, but he's actually leaving Saturday to come down to this area. And
Go
so
figure.
we'll probably wave at each other on the highway somewhere. Um, and then I get to see, my couple of my daughters, all three of my daughters that are up there, um, and my grandkids. So I'm pretty excited about that. And short visits because you're trucking, but it'll be good. So and that TT, the venue is so historic, you know. Just it blew me away. And if you're not, I mean, everybody has heard of Mount St. Helens, right?
For
So
better or for worse, yes.
yeah, but if you're not a Pacific Northwesterner or haven't lived up there and seen some of the results of what it did um, firsthand, and some of the stuff you don't see in the pictures and on TV, like giant, giant, giant pilings of, basically mud and ash um, and then, here you are at Castle Rock, and understand that that was right in the path of the river. And not only was it flooded, it was covered in ash.
So crazy. I mean, it changed the world when that happened.
Oh yeah,
You know, the smoke went across the world for like a couple months, and
it's crazy.
yeah,
So, and to think that the track is back after, the river, trying to remember what river runs right behind it. A river runs by it.
river runs through it.
Oh, through it. Yeah, yeah. No, right behind it. And that has flooded a couple of times and completely taken out the track. And then, of course, the volcano. And it's still there. And the biggest flat track show in the world is there
Yeah,
and packing the house, So kudos to all my friends there with the AFT team that are just slaying, uh, Cameron, Bobby, Robbie, Kelly, man, Nick, all you guys. Hoping that Kristen Beat will be there. Get to see Scotty D, and Ralph. So it should be a good time. And I know he probably doesn't listen, but special shout out to like Brian P. BP, I call him. He is Kristen Beat's assigned cameraman and has been for years. And he is unbelievably great dude with a great sense of humor and always coming up with something crazy. So um, he's a good dude, and if you've ever seen Kristen Beat on TV, although I don't know if he did the X Games, but if you've ever seen her on TV, BP was the man behind the camera.
how funny.
Yeah, so he's a great guy, and I just look forward to being up there. And this year, the program's being run by the SDI group that does Sacramento Mile also. So it'll be nice to see Tom and Steve and that group again. Um, Super excited. I'll be up there with Team Kicker Performance Audio, of course, who sponsors the Parts Unlimited AFT singles presented by Kicker.
Crushed it.
Yeah. And Isan, my boy Joey, just so many super good dudes, and girls. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them, spend some time with them. Um, so that should be pretty exciting. And getting the old grinder out and getting some miles on her.
Yeah, getting that kicker logo back out there.
Yeah, for sure. And the oh wow, I don't know what that was.
Sounds like it's
Circle.
out now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and for sure, I'm just hoping, that thanks to my dude Jeremy at Trailers Direct of Springfield in Springfield, Illinois, I don't have a repeat of what happened to me last year. Um, so for those of you who don't know, go back and listen to the episode. Um, and I was grateful for the people that helped me out there. um Ryan from Four Wheel Parts Vegas, and of course the Cuskinator. Really grateful for those connections, and to get me somebody that got me down the road, and eventually got me 5,000 miles before it failed again. So um that was rad. And I go straight up, of course, through the desert, right straight up the Vegas to Reno route. And now that I've done it, I'm always looking, oh, there's that pit, everything correlates in my head now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it always brings good memories. And I'm always watching for aliens.
Of
and
course.
spacecraft and weird stuff like that. Well, now they exist. Who knew, right? I did.
That's what's so crazy right now is like that was a news story and everybody's like, yeah, who cares anyway, moving on.
Yeah, yeah, because any practical thinkers already knew it.
Now it's just getting released out there slowly.
Right,
Uh,
right. We already knew it.
yeah, don't try to go to Area 51. You'll get shut down pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. One time on a road trip, I tried to talk Chili into pulling over and running over and throwing a silver cooler bag over the fence. And he wouldn't do it. But I was like, let's just do it as a joke and see how long it takes someone to get here.
Pretty quick, I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah. Well, it's like, dude, I was on a road trip with the Cuskinator and Marcus Pomeroy from record side by side record reset and now Sand
Sand
Outlaw
Outlaw. Yep.
drag series. We had actually gone to Doomfest, whatever year it was, anyways, and we were coming back. We were driving through that area just as it was getting dark. And I had been telling them how weird things happen and blah, blah, blah. And they're kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever, and we're between Hawthorne, which, if you don't know, Hawthorne is USA's largest munitions depot. And also the Army base there in Hawthorne, not only is it a munitions depot, but oddly enough, there's a naval undersea warfare base there. And the only water around is Walker Lake, which isn't really that deep. So
Yeah, that you can see.
yeah. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories I'm not going to go into about that, but nonetheless, we I have had multiple strange experiences between Hawthorne and south of Tonopah, right? But I've driven it a ton, like sometimes, often 8 times a year or more. So we're driving along, and everybody was like, it's P brake. We pull over to the side of the road. We hadn't literally, I swear to you, we had not seen a car in an hour on the road. Pull over to the side of the road, and within 2 minutes, all of a sudden, 3 plain white vehicles, all different, went by.
Yeah,
Plain white
trying to
Charger.
see what you were doing.
Yeah. You see a set of headlights coming out of the hills like 5 miles up the road, and you're like, whoa. And I'll tell you what, those guys became believers. Like,
Yeah,
call me
no
crazy,
car for an hour. You stop. There's 3 government vehicles. What else do you need to know?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying they were government.
3 unmarked. You went from no vehicles to 3 vehicles.
To 3 plain white vehicles. Yeah, a little strange. So anyway, yeah. No, man, it should be a good trip. I'm really looking forward to it. And I think we got some big stuff coming because we got episode 50 coming, which fittingly will be recorded while I'm on the road.
No.
And we'll be bringing you along for the ride for sure for that one.
Yeah, because you've been home. What's the opposite of homesick? You've been home stuck for quite a while.
Yeah.
How do you call it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the cancellation of the
house arrest
Gallup race, I end up being home 3 weeks. Well, I knew I was going to be home a while and then be gone for a week and then home for a couple of weeks and then heading north. So being gone for that week just didn't happen. So it's been a long stretch. There's a lot of stuff getting done around here though. So I guess that's good in its own right, you
Yeah.
know?
A blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of blessings, I'm so thankful, so blessed for Rob Muzzy, taking that chance because just to go back to the Doomfest thing, um, there was all those Doomfests with him. I was fortunate enough to do a couple of them with SSV Works. And then while I was managing and coordinating and promoting UTV Invasion, I was able to do 1 year at that. And then, of course, the following years uh, with Kicker Performance Audio. And I'm so grateful to all those companies um, for the continuing support through all the years of Doomfest. So grateful for all the people, all the Doomfest workers, and all my friends. And like, I don't think I met anybody that wasn't a friend of mine up there.
That's
If they
cool.
if they weren't already, they were gonna be. So super cool. A ton of great opportunities and ton of great people met. A lot of networking done during those events. And you never know. You never know.
No.
I'm hoping I'll end up in the Oregon Dunes yet this year.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that,
Never say never.
right?
Oh,
So, yeah, man. And then other than that, dude, um, just got a list of stuff I got to do. Poor old Grinder has gone around the block twice, I think, maybe three times in the
damn.
last 2 months.
Diesels hate
So
that, man.
she needs a bath before I leave, because we've had a bunch of wind out here. And as you know, and if people don't know, there's a lot of barren desert around us, and specifically south and southeast of us. And so when the wind blows, we get a lot of dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of painful, fast moving hot dust.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 118-degree dust at 25 miles an hour. It's good for the skin though,
Yeah,
I
it'll
hear.
sandpaper you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, man. Other than that, what do you got, brother?
We had such a good stretch of racing between May and early July. And then, like, right now, it's kind of a lull, which sucks. Like, I'm
Yep.
starting to get the fever to go back out. But I guess I should be grateful because, like, real life work has been so busy. So I'm not missing anything, which is great. But September, we're going back racing. Jake's series starts up again. So he's got 2 points races alone just in September, which is awesome. Pretty quick turnaround time for desert racing, but it is what it is. Got to be in it to win it. And then there's also another night race that's not part of his series where kind of kicking the can, kind of kicking the idea around, see if we can borrow somebody else's bike to save on his equipment. So,
Nice.
he's coming back from a wrist injury after his last night race. So hopefully, at bare minimum, we'll get the points races done. So September will be fun and very busy. And then we've already kind of started to kick around some ideas as to what to do next year. So pretty exciting. It's kind of cool that here we are in August and we're already like, okay, 2024, like, how are we going to attack this? So it's been pretty damn exciting lately.
Yeah, excellent. Well, if you want to have a successful program the following year, you have to start early, and
For
that's
sure.
that's you know, I've seen time and time again through all my years of racing where programs that get a late start just don't perform well. And if you don't come out of the box at least mostly ready, um, by the time you get dialed, everyone's ahead of you,
Of
and
course.
gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's absolutely imperative, and that's exciting, man.
Yeah, it
I've,
is. I mean, we might, I don't want to speak for him, but we might end up doing something the same but totally different. Like maybe even move a district over. We'll see. So go run with some of the big boys. But yeah, it is cool, and it's exciting that he's so excited to do it. Because it's luckily he's still young, and it sounds stupid, but even guys my age in their early 30s will find excuses to not ride and race, and he's not there yet. So I'm so happy that he's like getting me out to the races.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy that he's getting you out to the races and tapping your knowledge and your extensive talent and background. I mean, it's obviously been helping him immensely. So proof's in the pudding. So it's kind of exciting for sure, dude.
Yeah, it definitely gives you something to look forward to during the week, especially when you got the big written red on the calendar, like race week this week, it just makes it's funny. You go from like, damn it, it's only Tuesday to like, it's Tuesday and we still got to get this and done. So
Yeah,
yeah, it sure makes the time fly, no doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I remember that was always a big thing, trying to get equipment ready for Doomfest, especially, uh, when I was with Muzzies, because there were times, that we would get a new product from a manufacturer that they were going to release at Doomfest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, it's like, man, you're on the grind. Like, I was looking at some pictures of that little Articat 700 trail, and we got that at Muzzies. They sent it to us 2 weeks before Doomfest,
That's insane.
and I had to develop a fuel management system and help develop and test and prove out an exhaust system on it before Doomfest.
A couple long nights, huh?
Yeah, there was some definitely long days. But I mean, it worked. The system proved out. The R&D guy was brilliant. We worked together a little bit on how to get everything. There's so much plastic in that car, especially in the back of the seats and stuff, that we had to work. We had to be pretty creative. Um, and then I'll never forget, because you were there. Um, you guys brought us paddles,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, hey, I'm going to need paddles for this thing if you can do it. Okay, yeah, for sure, no problem. And I think you actually even brought them over
Yeah, I
to the
definitely did.
booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would
And
have been the one to do stuff like that.
yeah, and you're unloading them, and I'm like, oh, there's no way this little car is going to turn those great big fat paddles.
It's like, we got it. It's got
Yeah,
Muzzy power.
yeah, and man, I was blown away. Like, you guys hit it, you and the Cuskinator hit it dead nuts on what it needed. That car was. I've driven a lot of side by sides in the sand, in the dunes, all over the country, all over the continent, actually. Um, and dude, that car was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was like driving a go-kart.
Yeah, which is quite a bit of travel, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, they nailed it on their, because they probably wanted it to be a 50-inch car, and then you
yeah,
throw some staggered paddles on there and you widen it up a little bit, and the thing's just sprightly. Yeah.
yeah. It was light. That 700 made good power. Um, it it had manual steering, so the steering input was exceptional. The paddles performed great. You could run those trails, and a lot of those trails, like through the grass and stuff, I was very accustomed to running because I rode them all the time in my brute force
Mm-hmm.
and at speed. So, like, I got out there and I'm ripping And all of a sudden I realized, I'm like, whatever, 8 inches, 10 inches wider than,
Yeah.
and probably 8 inches wider with the paddles
Yeah,
than the
yeah, because
Blue
it would have
Force was.
it would have like a 6'4" offset in the back. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the funniest thing ever was those things were so big, the rear paddles, that from the back, that thing looked like a funny car.
Oh yeah, like arguably looked kind of stupid. The
Yeah.
front end all tucked in and then the
I thought
back's
it was cool,
all
but
dorky.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was, but that, what a great little car. That was, what a great memory.
Man, I'm just
Um,
having these flashbacks of like, because we had a 24-foot trailer and we had two cars to take up there, and it was like, hey, Muzzies needs a paddle. Hey, these guys need a paddle. Hey, KNT needs a set. It's like, oh, I promised this guy because I've known him 20 years. And you're like, okay, we have two cars, a 24-foot trailer, and we have like 9 sets of paddles to bring everybody. Like, you know how math works? No, like,
yeah, no, I had a lot of good times up there for sure. And I really am going to miss it, but I'm not saying I won't be back to the Oregon sand soon.
yeah, good.
So,
All right.
um,
Wait and see.
yeah, for sure. So I think, with that, what do you got, Cole? Closing statements.
Closing statements. Congrats to Clay Milliken on winning Top Fuel recently.
Dude, that was on my list, and I put my Powerade on it so I can't read my stupid list. Yes, uh, our great friend Clay Milliken, uh, knocked it out of the park at Bandamere
Yep.
in Denver, taking home the Wally.
Possibly the last Top Fuel Wally to ever come out of that track.
Yeah,
Because,
yep, correct. So, yeah, what else you got?
dude, I got everything and nothing. You know what I mean? I got lots of stories and all bad radio. So parting statements. Congrats to Clay Milliken, and I'm ready to get out of my house and go racing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm ready to get out of my house, get on the road, and see the sights. Even though I've seen them a million times, I look forward to it. I
Yeah.
really do. I enjoy it. So, yeah, and man, Cole, thank you so much. All the people that chimed in to contribute to episode 47. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
truly, truly do not deserve it. I am humbled. Um, and I am just so honored. And Cole, thank you for everything you did in episode 47, everything you've done all the way up to this episode, and the plans that we have in the future. Appreciate you greatly.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
For sure. I think with that, we're going to flip the gas cap closed. And man, oh man, Cole, do the speech.
Make sure to rate, review, subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Yes. And also, while we're doing special shout outs, I believe that the Podfather himself requires a shout out. Our guy Cole was able to do some hunting this weekend and come up with, yes, you guessed it, Cole.
I went beaver hunting and I found myself some Jim Beaver's Misadventures by Belching Beaver Brewery. That was a mouthful, and I'm only going to do it one time.
Well done. And it was good.
And it was delicious. Yeah, it was a great time. Hot San Diego weather, found it. All my friends liked it, and they're beer snobs, and I bought myself a couple 6-packs, and they're going faster than they should, so it tastes pretty good.
Well done, Jim Beaver. This is not a paid promotion.
It is not a paid. It's a total fanboy moment.
Yeah, right? Right on. Well, folks, come along for the ride. We'll catch you on episode 50. Mad Dog out.